this video training module for businesstraining.com on rapport building. Rapport building is the matching or mirroring of actions, words, pacing, and gestures of other people so that they see you as similar to them, someone who is perhaps a friend in the industry, someone they can relate to, someone they have things familiar with, so that you can communicate with them more effectively and make the sale or convince them to help you on a project or just get their support on your team. This is very applicable to many different areas of business. You can use this in business development, you could use this in email marketing and internet marketing, you could use this while working on project management, you can use this while building your team and getting team members motivated to help you reach the big goal. This is really something that is applicable to almost every area of business, so it's really important to cover, and that's why we're creating this video resource for you today. So the most important first step in getting rapport building down to help you move forward in your career or your business is to understand that the first thing you must do is understand your customer avatar, or kind of the target avatar, the person you'll be most likely working with. So for example, if you're going to use this for marketing purposes, you might look at all of your clients and figure out which client base or type of client is most profitable, brings in the most amount of money, is really your bread and butter area that you really want to keep long term and communicate even more effectively with. If you're doing this as a business manager or project manager, figure out who the key leader is you need to recruit, who the key prospects are, what they have in common, narrow it down to one set of people. And then once you have that person or that group decided on, you can look at things from their perspective and understand how they act, what their experience has been in that area, what they enjoy, what they fear, all of those things, and that'll help you use all of these rapport building techniques, and I believe they'll be twice as effective if you take that first step. So now let's get straight down to the techniques. The first one is to change the tone and the pace of your voice. What you want to do is if somebody comes to you and they're talking very slow and they're very relaxed and laid back, then you probably want to speak back to them in a very similar tone of voice, especially when you first start speaking to them. Otherwise, they might be having a slow day. They might, maybe they think that way in a slow, methodical way. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you come in there just rapid fire machine gun speaking, then they might look at you as like, wow, this person, seems stressed out. Are they from the East Coast? They're not like me. They're, too fast moving for me. I don't want to work with this person. And you just seem dissimilar to them, and that's what you don't want to do. All these techniques are about looking more similar to the other person. And it's important not to do anything that's unnatural for you or that makes you uncomfortable. It's not about that. It's just slightly modifying what we're doing to help you communicate more effectively with other people. Now, if you sit down with somebody, say that you're trying to make a sale to, and you could be selling an idea or a product or service, and they're talking very quickly, they're in a rush, they have a very tight schedule, it'd be smart to speak back to them in that same way. They want to listen in the same way that they talk typically, and they'll like that you're respecting their time and getting right down to the topics that need to be talked about and get the meeting over with. That's probably why they're speaking quickly. So people will appreciate you doing this. It's not just for your own benefit. The next tip is to pay attention to the vocab that your customer avatar or target avatar is really using. What words they use in their emails, what words they use to describe themselves, what words they use in working every day, for their goals, for their biggest fears, and use those while you're speaking to them so that you appear to be very knowledgeable about their needs and their goals and their fears, but you're also seem to be very similar to them. You're working towards those same goals and away from those same fears. And people want to be around people that are moving in the same direction. I think this goes back, thousands of years to just survival techniques and strategies of human beings. You want to be with other people that are also going hunting, that are also gathering food. You don't want to be with people who are doing something that's going to go against, what you're working towards. The next tip is to look at the clothes that the person is wearing and just try to match them somewhat. If you are managing a team of professionals and you're a new manager brought in there, and at your old company, people dressed a certain way, obviously it's going to be smart to kind of match how people dress at your new job. If you're in sales, you want to dress like your potential client or customer does, or just slightly better. But you don't want to have this huge disparate gap between how you dress and who the people you're trying to work with or influence are dressed, or you'll look unfamiliar to them. And one tip here that makes it a little bit less obvious of a tip is to look at the details. What types of watches do they wear? What type of shoes do they wear? Do they have spiky short hair or very formal conservative hair? How do they hold themselves, and how do they manage their overall type of appearance? And that will basically take me to my next tip, of paying attention to how your customer avatar, your target avatar, really holds themselves. What gestures do they use? What posture? Do they walk with their shoulders back and their head up high? Is everybody kind of keep to themselves, computer programmer type people, kind of inverted type personalities? So really pay attention to that and kind of communicate that you're similar to them, or slightly modify how you hold yourself so that you will appear more similar to them. And the last tip here is to pay attention to the type of entertainment that the other group likes, or their target avatar likes, what they enjoy, what they're passionate about in the industry, and what they're passionate about and have fun doing outside of the industry. You might discover that baseball and football, or hockey games, or getting their small business to $400,000 a year in revenue. You might find that whatever it is, the group you're talking to, wants that career jump, they want to meet that goal, or they have this passion outside of work. And if you can find that thing that's common, then you can connect with people on that different level. And if you've ever, for example, a used car salesman, anytime you go to buy a car, the person will talk to you for just a minute or two and then immediately find something they can latch onto and say, oh yeah, I love that too. Oh yeah, I love the Red Sox as well. I've got a friend that lives right there in Boston. I've gone to 5 of their games before. And now you have a connection. You have something that you have in common. You are familiar in that area, and they'll say, how bad can this guy be? He likes the Red Sox. I love the Red Sox. So they'll connect with you much more quickly. So that's a great tip to use, and it's really one of the strongest ones here, because if you can start out on the right foot and find something similar or in common that the other person is passionate about, you'll have made a huge leap forward in building rapport with them, and you'll be able to effectively communicate with them much more quickly. Hope you enjoyed this video training resource. Again, this is from businesstraining.com, where you can earn master's level qualifications to boost your compensation.